I would like to remind everyone that this meeting will be filmed or recorded, filmed live or recorded and uploaded to the internet and will be capable of repeated viewing. Therefore, by participating in this meeting, you are consenting to being filmed and to the possible use of those images and sound recordings. If any public speakers on MS Teams do not wish their image to be captured, they should ensure that their video setting throughout this meeting is turned off and set to audio only. Members, unlike myself, can I remind you if you're speaking to turn your microphone on and when you finish to turn your microphone off. Apologies for absence.
None, Leader.
Thank you very much. Declarations of interest? No. Okay. Minutes of the last meeting, can I take those as being correct?
Agreed.
Thank you. Any reports of portfolio holders in addition to what's here this evening? Councillor Bedford.
Thank you, Leader. Just to remind members that the consultation document is out there at the moment for Latin Priory. I know Councillor Williamson will be talking about things later on. However, the document is out there for people to view online and make comments. Because of the late publication of the document being sent out to residents, the deadline has been extended slightly, so it allows you to get those comments in. So if you add a week onto that, that should be fine.
Thank you. Councillor Williamson.
Likewise, a consultation going on about a conservation. You've got to get them the right way around. Conservation area at St John's in Buckhurst Hill. Following a meeting, we had a public meeting. We've decided to extend that as well. So.
Thank you. Public questions or requests to address the Cabinet?
None, Leader.
Thank you. Report of overview and scrutiny. Councillor Baldwin.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. So since the last Cabinet meeting, we've had a scrutiny workshop. A scrutiny workshop was held on the 19th of September, which was to consider changes to the NPPF. And we also had a little bit of unfinished business from an abandoned community scrutiny. That was on the 24th of September. That has been rescheduled for the 22nd of October. And the place committee that would have taken place on that date will be scheduled for a later date. And the other thing, of course, which is coming up soon, which is the dedicated overview and scrutiny committee on the on the 29th of October. Now, I've had many questions submitted, but there's still time if you wish to submit questions. You're most welcome to do so. We'll probably group those questions in themes, because otherwise we cannot answer all the questions. So we'll group them together to do that. So I think, it probably summarises everything that I need to say. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Councillor Baldwin. That's very helpful. Members of the Cabinet, any questions? No? Oh, sorry, Councillor Williamson.
Just a very quick one. Do we know who's coming?
Councillor Baldwin.
As yet, I don't have any names as yet that I can give.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Murray.
Thank you, Chairman. A couple of points. I wanted to publicly thank Councillor Baldwin for his steady chairmanship of the committee. He's taken it over this year and he's doing a really good job. And my point was around TfL. I think once they see the nature of the questions they're going to be asked, they will certainly have to send a team that can answer them, or the research has been done to answer them. Because like other members, I've invited the public to submit their questions to me, which I've passed on, and I have to say the range of questions that I've received and the depth of responses that I've received from members of the public have been far larger and better quality than I was necessarily expecting, and I think it shows therefore the level of concern around TfL and buses and the central line. So I think the main point is whoever they are, they've got to be able to answer the questions that have been submitted, and I think you would agree, Councillor Baldwin, you've probably seen a wider range. I obviously only know the ones I've submitted, but they are quite in depth, and they are quite wide in their spectrum, aren't they?
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Murray, and certainly a meeting I'm looking forward to attending. I think our residents are very concerned about TfL in a number of ways at the moment. Any other members? No? Okay. Thank you very much, Councillor Baldwin. Moving on then to item 8, the implementation of the local plan. Councillor Williamson.
Thank you, Leader. This is to note the progress made on the strategic master plans and concept frameworks. We said we'd update members, and this is exactly what we're doing here. It's a very detailed document with long lists and things in it. I'm quite happy to answer any questions on general areas. If anybody's got any specific questions on any allocated site, I'll certainly take the question, but deal with it later. It might be easier to put in an email, actually, if it's a particular site, but I'm happy to answer questions on the generality. And thank you to the officers for the work they're doing on this. It's a great piece of work. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Thank you very much, Councillor Williamson. Any members of the Cabinet with questions? No? Other members? Councillor Whitehouse.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I'm happy to take up site-specific issues separately, but of course the local plan is more than just the site allocations. I mean, you mentioned the conservation area thing earlier, and I just wondered, will we also get an update at some point about the sort of wider implementation of the local plan? I'm thinking of things like the air pollution strategy, the green infrastructure strategy. There's quite a lot of documents which have been produced and strategies which have been produced as part of the local plan process, and we really need to sort of know how they're progressing.
Councillor Williamson.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, we will come back to Council as soon as we've got any updates. As far as I'm aware, there are no updates on any of the things you mentioned or any other parts of the local plan. Although it started 2011, it's relatively new. But as soon as there are any updates, they will be informed to Council.
Thank you. Councillor Wiskin.
Thank you, Chairman. One of the schedules refers to the allocated sites and the how many under or over they were from the original allocation. Would it be useful for members to know about what I believe are described as windfall sites? I'm thinking specifically of Pearls Lane in Loughton, which is on the boil, and clearly, although the meeting was deferred, Centric Parade in Loughton, there'll clearly be significant opportunities from the council's point of view for domestic residences in the high road. So would it be a good idea that we are given visibility perhaps on a similar schedule for windfall properties?
Thank you. Councillor Williamson.
Certainly look into the possibility of that, but there are some sites that aren't allocated in the local plan and aren't reported on, like Pearls Lane, because they were already in the system and in the numbers we were dealing with. So again, I'm happy to answer questions or emails on specific sites. But yeah, we'll look into it. It was a very, very small allocation in the local plan for windfalls. I'm sure we exceeded it in the first 6 months of since the plan was adopted. So yeah, we'll look into that.
Thank you very much. Any other members? Okay, can we agree the recommendation for this report?
Agreed.
Thank you. We then move on to item 9, which is any other business, and following on to that, we have item 10, updated medium-term financial plan. Councillor Holly-Whitbread.
Thank you, Chairman, and can I start by saying thank you to Chris and Andrew and the finance team for putting these papers together. The medium-term financial plan really lays the foundations for the budget and sets the framework for the budget. If you look through the papers, it paints a relatively positive picture, but with many challenges within. So the projected deficit for next year is £1 million, and this is a favourable picture compared to last year, where we had a £3.7 million projected deficit. but this is really a result of the positive impacts of the Northfield Airfield Google transaction. The challenge with this is it does mean it locks in the capital funding, and what we really want to do is look to invest that in the future. So looking ahead, there are various potential risks, and we do still need to have a pragmatic look to see where we can make savings, also where we can generate income so we can achieve that balanced budget. And there are difficult decisions to make, and shortly I'll be meeting with Cabinet colleagues to look at where we can make efficiencies and suggest efficiencies, but also where there might be possible opportunities for income generation. As with last year, we really want to engage overview and scrutiny in this, in making some of those difficult, challenging decisions, which will come in the coming weeks. So obviously what we want to achieve is a balanced budget. This project, this paper, paints a relatively positive picture, but there are some real challenges there. So happy to take any questions, and Chris is here this evening as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Whitehouse.
Thanks. So it's a very helpful report to have this have at this stage. So thanks to both the officers and the portfolio holder for bringing it forward. And as far as the revenue side goes, clearly quite a lot depends on the transformation revenue reserve and the assumptions made around that. And I think it'd be helpful to have a bit more of a breakdown of how that reserve is being allocated and over what timescale it's planned to spend that reserve. And given to a medium-term strategy, and the purpose of the reserve is to generate efficiencies or make the council fit for the future, presumably within the medium term, you'd expect it to generate some sort of return in terms of future savings, and to understand a bit more about what those are and when those would come in, that'd be helpful.
Councillor Whitbread.
Thank you, and congratulations to Councillor Whitehouse for his appointment as Chairman of Audit and Governance. Sorry I couldn't make the last meeting, but I look forward to attending future ones. I believe that transformation lies within the leader's portfolio, so I'm going to pass over to the leader's comment on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Whitehouse, as you'll know from the previous budget, transformation is focused on service delivery, but also around making savings and efficiencies. The two are equally important. At the end of the day, the service we give to residents has to maintain a good level. And in doing that, we also have to make sure that we are financially well built for the future. So there will be the search for efficiencies through the transformation programme. We're already working on various items, and some of that will be technology linked when we've built a new system. We're building up our relationship with shared services in Colchester. Customer services is going to be very important to us as we move forward. But obviously we will be bringing back reports on future savings from transformation. Again, as Councillor Holly Whitbread said, with a budget such as ours, we can't rely forever on the Google receipt. We have to make sure that we address our challenging shortfalls within the revenue. And that has to be done by looking for income generation and efficiencies within the system that we're providing, and that's what we will do. But the good news was the Google receipt has given us a soft landing. Any other members? Oh, sorry, Councillor Patel.
Hi. So, yeah, thank you for the question, Councillor Whitehouse. There's just one more comment I can make on that as well. For example, with our digital strategy and the website that we're putting together with Colchester, you can't exactly compare how much we're spending and what would be the outcome in terms of savings. But one thing I can say is by pooling both of our resources, we are making sure that we get more than what we would have done if it was just us as well. So the solutions that we can find are much better because we're working together on finding that and pooling our resources together. So hopefully that will have an outcome of savings as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other members? Therefore, can we agree the recommendations? Agreed. Thank you. We then move on to item 11, which is the capital programme. Councillor Whitbread.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you again to officers for putting together this report. You'll see this is the updated capital programme, which we agreed to bring back to Cabinet on a yearly basis. So the capital programme is a £179 million programme, which is broken down into the housing revenue account and the general fund. So the biggest proportion of that actually sits in the housing revenue account, where we see projects like council house building and regeneration. And the second part of that lies in the general fund, and there's some really exciting projects as part of that, including the Epping Leisure Centre project, which I'm really excited to have a tour of later in the week. Obviously a long expected project, and it's really fantastic to see fantastic progress being made. The Northfield Airfield Control Tower is also an important part of the capital programme and really cements this council's commitment to flying. There's other parts of the capital programme, including the Disabled Facilities Grant, ICT Strategy and Transformation, and various Qualis projects as well. Happy to take any questions. Chris is also here, but I think this is actually a positive report. It puts it on paper our plans for regeneration and ambitious projects for Epping Forest. Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the Cabinet, any questions? No? Any members? No? Okay. Therefore, can I agree the recommendations?
Agreed.
Thank you. And with that, we come to the close of a very short Cabinet meeting. Thank you all very much for your patience.
17 minutes, not bad.